Not 1, not 2, not 3, not even 4. Episode 5. Welcome back to the podcast. Happy to see you. We just have some house cleaning to do.
We can't see anybody. It's just us in here.
Happy to see you again. First of all, we'd like to start out with thanking you for the support on the podcast and the show on YouTube. We started out with 0 viewers besides us, and we all went up. We went to like 5, and then 12, and then on this most recent one, the last time I checked, we were at 40 or 42 views. And also, thank you. We've hit the 10 subscriber milestone. That probably sounds ridiculous to some people, but 10 subscribers I think is huge. So thank you so much. It's really appreciated. I wasn't sure how fast we'd get to 10, so the fact that we're already at 10 at episode 5, that's pretty amazing. So thank you so much from the bottom of our heart, and thanks for interacting with us. So shout out Owen Hexel on his comment. We really appreciate the interaction. He was wrong just like I was. He said Suns as well. Yeah, it was not the Suns. And yeah, we were wrong. But shout out Owen anyway. Thanks for the comment, and thanks for the new subs, everyone.
Yeah, we're excited. We're very excited.
Other house cleaning that we had to do, speaking of sweeps, the Bucks reverse swept the Suns. They had won straight 4 in a row, and Bucks in 6 with Giannis dropping what is that?
50 piece?
50?
A 50 piece? A 50 burger? I've heard multiple things about that. Last person to he also dropped 40 in back-to-back games, which I think the last people to do that is either LeBron or Shaq. I've seen 2 different things. I don't know which one it is, but both are believable.
I think Bob Pettit might have been one.
Yep. But
yeah,
recent memory, LeBron, Shaq. So he's up there with those guys. And those guys, you could say they were unstoppable at their points in their careers. So.
Also about Giannis, I think he might be the most likable superstar right now.
I watched a video. I don't know when this was from.
Was it with the little girl?
The little girl.
Oh my!
And I was like, it touched me.
For those of you that didn't see it, she gives him like a folder, and it looks like it has like a drawing and maybe like a note or letter in it. And he's looking through it, and he's like, "This is amazing!
Yeah, you did
oh my
this for
God.
me?
Oh, thank you!" And then he walked around the table and like hugged her as he kept going through it.
And this girl just loses
She
it.
starts crying, and like I'm sitting there like, I can't cry at this, right?
Yeah, I know. I was like, tell Taylor watch this. So no, yeah, he's a great human.
I thought that was awesome. Plus that whole his speech with, if you're thinking about the past, that's your ego. If you're thinking about the future, that's your pride. You got to think in the now. All the things when I think of him, it's all likable stuff. Yep. I saw some funny clips of him sitting by himself on the bench, and the media went up to him because they were like, "Gonna talk to him," and nobody was around him. He's like, "It's just me by myself." You know, sometimes you just have to be the only, and there's nobody around you to support you. You just have to provide your own support. He's like, that's what I'm doing right now. And he was obviously messing around, but I've only seen positive things with him. So I think he might, not only is he up there now with the likes in the records of Shaq and those level of players, but yeah.
I think one of the only people to win MVP, multiple MVPs, Defensive Player of the Year, and Finals MVP. I think the only people is like Michael Jordan.
Yeah,
I think Michael Jordan.
And he could have won MVP this year, but they didn't want to give it to him because he didn't have postseason success.
Yeah,
that's the only reason, because he got some votes.
Yeah,
but he only got 1 vote, I think, as the number 1.
Yeah, I mean it was Jokic's.
Yeah,
it was Jokic's.
Jokic was going to get it. Chris Paul was going to get some, but it was Steph with a few.
Embiid with a couple.
I think Jokic, and then if Embiid would have played all year, it would have been Embiid. Yeah. But yeah, it was Jokic's to take. But yeah, that little girl video.
Yeah.
But that's really all I have on the finals. Giannis is great. I don't really want to do the comparisons of, is Giannis the best player? I don't care for those discussions. There's like LeBron versus Jordan.
Yeah,
it's fine.
There's one thing I saw where and I'm sure you could find this quote online. He said, like, I would rather do it here before, like, stay with one organization and build something with that organization, and then get that ring, and then possibly in my future eventually join a super team and get a couple.
Yeah, and then he made a joke about how he could easily win a championship if he joined a super team.
Right.
Yeah. Outside of that,
I mean, he's got all-stars on his team too. It's just not seen as.
I do. Outside of Giannis, there's a couple other players. They didn't really step up. But I did have one more Bucks-related question.
Okay.
So Chris Middleton was a hot topic all through the playoffs. Chris Middleton has been. Would you rather, if you were starting a team now, either as your number 1 or number 2, just he's the guy, he's going to probably, let's say he's going to be your number 2, Michael Redd or Chris Middleton?
I think I'm going to take Chris Middleton.
I think I'm also going to.
I thought you were going to take affinity for Michael Redd. Yeah. I know there's a couple old Bucks that we're like that player's really good. Michael Redd, Larry Sanders,
yeah.
Brandon Jennings was even unstoppable for a little bit. But yeah, no, I'll take Chris Middleton. He's he's an Olympic player. And he's maybe not as consistent as Michael Redd.
Michael Redd was more efficient.
But I don't know, he's got more tools to his kit. So
I agree. And in the fourth quarter, Middleton's just gets better for some reason.
Yeah.
I like that.
Yeah.
So yeah, cool. I wanted to see what you thought on that. That's it for the NBA Finals talk. We've talked about NBA Finals and playoffs every episode, so I'm ready to move on to
I have to do another shout
things.
out. I had another employee that I work with. His name's Logan. He said Bucks in 6 from the start. So, good for him.
So Logan nailed it.
He should have put some money on it, but...
Too bad it's illegal in Minnesota.
Exactly.
Oh, I wish sports betting was legal, but whatever. That's fine. Good for you.
Owen, better luck next year.
Shout out Owen. So better luck next year. Shout out Logan.
Everyone else. That's not just them. It's everyone. Everyone's support.
Yeah, everyone's
really
support. But shout out for you guys for taking guesses and putting it out there. And then we do have some other basketball stuff we want to talk about. Our world famous segment we'd like to do.
The first segment. This is almost what we're known for.
This is what it's like when people I saw on ESPN, they were saying, "Did you see
ESPN 6? I think
ESPN Ocho."
Okay.
They were talking
Ocho 6.
Ocho 6.
Yeah.
They were talking about this crazy up and coming segment from the sports podcast called "Who Says No." We're going to do some Who Says No. Joe has a few that he saw that I have not looked at so that we could get my genuine opinion and reaction without any bias of doing some research and looking it up. But we'll go through the first few that were a little bit popular that I had here. Joe also sent me a couple of these. But the first one was Ricky Rubio, Michael Beasley, Jarrett Culver, and
Beasley? Malik Beasley.
Why Mike? Oh, wait.
He was on our team.
He was on our team. Malik Beasley. The better Beasley. Ricky Rubio, Jarrett Culver, Malik Beasley.
There you go.
Second round pick for John Wall, the Rockets 2027 first round pick, unprotected, and the Nets 2026 first round pick, top 8 protected, but since it's the Nets, even in 2026... odds are they won't be in top 8. So it would be 2 first-round picks and John Wall for that package of players.
Most of these Who Says No that we do are very one-sided. Mm-hmm. We've talked about Malik Beasley or Michael Beasley.
Well, yeah. Michael Beasley was killing it last year on Instagram videos.
Yeah. So in regards to Malik Beasley, we always thought he'd be worth straight up a first-round pick to a contender.
Yep, because Malik Beasley worth a 6th-round pick, or a late first round, 6th-round pick. My gosh,
6 rounds now.
Goodness, but yeah, worth a late. If you could assume that you could get a player of his caliber, or a player that could develop to his caliber in the late first round, that makes sense.
So we always thought if they're going to trade Malik Beasley, it's going to be to a contender, and you're most likely going to get a first-round pick and a young player out of it. So
yes.
Just that Nets pick, that hypothetical 2026 Nets pick, would most likely be a late round pick. And then in regards to Rubio, Culver in a second, you're essentially trading that for John Wall for 2 more years and another first. I mean, that's pretty close. And if John Wall can return to John Wall form, that's a good trade. I think.
So then D'Lo would be your 2 guard.
Yep, which
Ant
I think
would be your 3.
Yep, and they tend to play small. Jaden McDaniels is 6'9", but skinny, but he's athletic.
Yeah, listed as a power forward.
Right. You've got Jared Vanderbilt, who I assume they're going to bring back. He's restricted, I think. So
my dad thinks Nods should be starting.
If they want to run, the big thing is, the Lakers did it 2 years ago when they had AD and someone else, Tyson Chandler maybe, not Tyson Chandler.
Last year, Dwight Howard.
JaVale
Or the
McGee.
year before was probably Dwight, or was he on the Sixers already?
I don't remember. Maybe it was Dwight, but they ran 2 bigs.
I think it was
so that
AD
was like,
Dwight.
is this the next wave? Is 2 bigs?
And that's how people were stopping Giannis, was bigs building a wall.
Right. So I probably do this trade. I think us getting some picks, just some extra picks, and then hypothetically getting a John Wall scenario, he could be.
The hardest part to get rid of there is Beasley.
Yeah.
Because he's probably
the best shooter.
He's a top 3 shooter on our team, probably
Right.
the best shooter
Right.
on the most consistent 3-point shooter on the team, and mid range. That's the hardest piece to get rid of. However, Rubio's been honest about not really liking his second stint here in Minnesota, so getting him out would be good for him. And you're sending him to Houston, so I guess that's not too close.
Not starting. Yeah, that's
Close to
Houston's,
Phoenix, so he might have some connections from when he used to be there.
Unprotected pick is very appealing because in 5 years, do I think the Rockets are going to be good? Probably not, and they're just
They probably won't have Culver on their team at that point anymore.
And if they're building, if they're building and they eventually get pretty good, they're not going to have that pick, so they're not going to be able to get better. So I like that trade. So.
Yeah, I think that's one of the first ones of the Who Says No where I was like, you know what, that's a fairly easy yes.
And I think
Beasley's the only thing where I'm like, but you get that first back with Beasley, so you get that. You're saying Rubio, Culver, and a second are worth a protected first. I think that's fair.
Yeah.
Yeah. The next Who Says No was also including Rubio. Like we said, he had to get out. This one was actually proposed by Joe, so we didn't find this on an article or Twitter. It was Rubio and a second for Steven Adams. I would say yes in a heartbeat.
Yeah.
I want one of the things that
This is assuming Lonzo's gone.
This is assuming Lonzo's gone, especially because I would love Lonzo on our team. But I have pounded my chest hard on the fact that Karl Anthony Towns is not a center. He plays the center position. I just don't. He's a power forward.
Yeah, he doesn't have the beef to play center. He's got the footwork, but he doesn't have the beef.
Right, and on offense, he doesn't play like a center.
Right.
He wants to. He played point guard in high school, so I think he still wants to be that point. And then in college, he was so big that he was able to manhandle the other bigs, and the other big in college that would have been able to stop him was his teammate Willie Cauley-Stein. So
who I'd also love.
Willie Cauley-Stein's another one. And he's super cheap, which is huge. But yeah, I think Towns, pairing him with a center, I always wanted, like, near the end of his career.
Steven Adams is like
Tyson Chandler was somebody I thought would be a good push Towns to the smaller 4. It's the same thing with KG. KG started as a center, and then his career exploded. Well, he didn't start, but like when he played center, he hated it, and then he exploded when they played him at the 4. I think Towns already is amazing, and he would explode at the 4.
Yeah.
So I want Adams, and getting rid of Rubio when he already wants to leave, good. Second round picks rarely amount to anything.
I'd even throw Culver in there.
You could, Rubio, Culver in a second for Steven Adams. If the contracts still work, which I think they would.
Yeah, I mean, New Orleans would probably take on a little bit more, but they're not paying Lonzo, so they've got money.
So I say yes there. We have 2 quick ones, I think. The one I saw today in an article was the Timberwolves sign Spencer Dinwiddie, and then they trade him to the Lakers for KCP and a second-round pick. I don't understand why. I think if the Timberwolves signed Spencer Dinwiddie, you could have him start at point guard.
He's restricted, right? So don't the Nets be able to match?
He opted out, I believe. I think he was a player option and opted out.
Okay.
The only reason that they wanted that is because every media person wants the Lakers to succeed and they want LeBron to win more.
Okay.
And the Lakers have no ability to sign or trade people.
Yeah.
So the only way they can get people is if they get 3 teams or sign-in trades. So you're telling the Timberwolves that a second-round pick in KCP is worth that kind of like the hassle of signing and trade Dinwiddie. Like,
I don't know. don't know about that.
That's the Timberwolves would just be helping the Lakers out for goodwill.
Yeah.
So I don't like that.
Right,
when I saw that, I was like, why?
Yeah, why would you do
it was
that?
just a why. So
When
who
we
says
could
no?
probably use-
Why?
We could probably use Spencer Dinwiddie if we want to.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, we'll do the sign and trade. We're not going to trade you. You can keep KCP. And then the last one was another thing with the Lakers. They wanted to sign CP3,
Right.
and they said so. This was in theory if CP3 opted in.
Is that 44.5?
Yeah. So if he opted in, the Lakers would have to sign Schroeder to it would have to be an extension, because even if Schroeder signed if they signed his team option, they signed Harrell's team option and traded Kuzma and THT, it still wouldn't be enough to match.
Yeah.
And they were saying, okay, well then it would be Russ. It's the same thing. All those players added up together on the Lakers, they still have too much cap. They would be too far over the luxury cap for CP3 or Russ.
Yeah.
So there would have to be a buyout or a third team involved. The Lakers they are more likely to get somebody like Mike Conley, Kyle Lowry, or if CP3 opts out and is willing to sign for the Lakers for, I think the max they could give him was $8 million. If he's willing to give up $47 million or $42 million for $8 million to play with LeBron, yeah. So anyway, I just that really wasn't a who says no, but it's more of a no way. Is that
No says who.
No says who. That's good.
Yeah.
So all right, hit me with them.
The first one's from Twitter, NBA Twitter, the infamous NBA Twitter.
You mentioned that, I believe, in the last episode or the episode before. NBA Twitter
It never ceases to amaze me.
Amaze and defy.
So the Warriors give up Oubre, 7 and 14. Okay. The Pacers give up Miles Turner, and 13. So I tell you the issue I have with this. Why are they giving up 13?
Yeah. Yep. Miles Turner, Oubre. Oubre is a fun personality, but in terms of talent-wise,
He flashes.
yeah, the bubble. It was the bubble.
Yeah.
Entirety of last season, he missed his first 32 shots.
Yeah.
Or 32 threes or something.
Yeah. So I thought this was very Warriors one-sided.
And see, that's a lot of them on Twitter. You can tell, oh, you're a fan of this team,
right?
And I'm sure there's people that have watched this and they're like, these guys are clearly Timberwolves fans.
Exactly.
But
at the same time, Ben Simmons isn't worth D'Angelo Russell, Anthony Edwards, and 4 picks.
No, he's not. Ben Simmons isn't worth a lot of stuff. But anyway, I would say no as the Pacers. And if the Pacers are willing to give me Turner and a pick, I say yes in a heartbeat, because you get the center that you need.
Right.
Wiseman moves to the 4. Or Wiseman moves to the bench, even better.
Which is probably better, yeah.
Yeah. And then you have Draymond, Wiggins, Clay, Steph.
Yeah.
Why do the Pacers do that?
Why would you do
because
that?
we're in the East. We don't have to worry about that. We don't have to worry about that team that's going to rampage through the West.
Yeah.
No, that's stupid.
Yeah.
All right.
Maybe
without that pick, but even without that pick, I might ask Oubre 7, 14, and a rotational player.
If I was Pacers, I'd be like, well, I'd rather have Wiggins than Oubre.
Oh, yeah. I'd rather have Wiggins than Oubre. At this point, I might even take Draymond in a second.
I'd ask for Wiseman, too.
Yep.
If I'm getting rid of
Oubre's
Turner.
another one of those players that it's either wait till the trade deadline to see if he can bounce it back, or he's just lost all of his value.
Plus, the Pacers have the exact same player in T.J. Warren.
And T.J. Warren I like better.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, but bubble T.J. Warren was unstoppable, too. So, all right, next one. This was via Twitter, but it was from an article.
T.J. Warren's hair. His cornrows are sick.
Yeah.
Anyway.
This was from NBA Twitter, it's from Twitter, but it was via an NBA Insiders article on ESPN. Okay? You're not going to get this one at all. You're not going to understand why NBA Insiders on ESPN did this, but
sure, let's hear
the Raptors give up Aaron Baines and number 4. The Thunder give up SGA.
SGA for Baines and number 4.
Yeah. It's a 4-person draft. NBA Insiders on ESPN.
Yeah, I don't get that.
Who says no?
Probably the Thunder.
Who says yes?
The other team.
The Raptors.
The Raptors.
Yeah, you'd have Van Vliet, Siakam, and an SGA.
Yeah, Siakam plays your 3.
Yeah. I don't know. Yeah. Here's one that makes sense. Okay, this is NBA Twitter again. Believe it or not, this one makes sense.
Okay.
The Kings give up pick number 9. The Thunder give up pick number 16 and 18.
16 and 18 for number 9.
Yeah.
Thunder give up number 9.
You gotta think.
The Kings give up 16 and 18?
No, the Kings give up 9. So the Thunder trade 16 and 18 to move up to 9.
I can see that. The Thunder like to make moves. I don't think that's too bad.
They gotta eventually trade this capital to get something, you know what I mean?
Right.
So
I guess that's good. And the Kings could probably use with some... Like, I don't know if the difference at number 9 versus the combination of 16 and 18 is really that big.
Right.
Yeah, why not?
Yeah.
That's one of those
I didn't
ones...
see anything wrong with it. The Thunder have to... Especially if they see a guy that they like at 9...
That trade is all on the scouting department.
Yeah.
Does the scouting department think somebody at 9 is worth that? That scouting. Your scouting department determines whether you accept that
with
trade.
how many picks the Thunder have, like, you gotta hit on some of these guys.
You either gotta hit on people or give them away for a guaranteed.
All right, this is the next one I saw. We talked about this one.
Sure.
We saw this on YouTube, or I saw this on YouTube. The Wolves give up Rubio, Jaden McDaniels, and a second. The Lakers give up Kyle Kuzma. It's always iffy when McDaniels is thrown in there.
But, I mean, it's iffy when Kyle Kuzma is what I'm supposed to be getting for better.
Yeah, I think you know where Kuzma's ceiling is.
Yep.
But Jaden McDaniels, you don't know where it is.
You don't know. Right, when potential gets you fired.
Yeah.
But, we
hit on 2 draft picks this year.
You're giving up a ton. Take out McDaniels and keep the rest in it. What is it?
Rubio and a second.
So Rubio and a second for Kuzma.
Yeah.
That's probably a little cheap for Kuzma. But maybe
Culver?
Rubio, Culver and a second?
Yeah. Yeah.
Maybe a future second as well.
Yeah, or right to swap or something.
Right, something like that. Rubio, Culver, a second, and then a right to swap.
Yeah.
For Kuzma. That makes way more sense than McDaniels. That trade is trying to help out the Lakers.
Right. Yeah, because they want a vet point guard. They want to get rid of Kuzma.
And then they want to be protected for the future, which would be McDaniels after LeBron's gone.
Yeah. So.
Nope. Wolves say no.
Yeah.
Is that all of them?
That's all I got, yeah.
All right, so now that Who Says No is done, that's it for basketball. Basketball season's over. We might have some more basketball discussion, but it's going to be hypotheticals and more like fun segments. So it won't be recaps and informational like we have been.
A couple redrafts, maybe.
Yeah, maybe some redrafts. I wrote that down. Yeah. Speaking of Mount Rushmore.
What a transition there.
New segment. Big hard heads. Mount Rushmore. Mount Rushmore is going to be the title of this segment. We're going to do the Mount Rushmore from every team. We're going to start with the NFL, and we're going to start with our division, NFC North. So the NFC North Mount Rushmore. Vikings, Lions, Bears, Packers. The 4 players that if they had to choose, represent them on a mountain, a monument of their team. Who would
Packers would most likely be made out of cheese. It's like a cheese.
Yeah, a cheese mountain. Mm-hmm. Cheese mountain. The Vikings would be made out of a boat or maybe blonde hair.
Okay. Just out of blonde hair.
Because it's Vikings.
They just scalp people with blonde hair and then just...
No, Scandinavians, man. Or maybe an axe. But yeah, Packers would definitely be cheese. Lions would be the carcasses of zebras, clearly. Okay.
Or gazelles.
Yep.
Okay, and then the Bears would be little teddy bears.
All right. I
have to look on yours because you wrote mine down.
So the Lions is who we're starting with. We're going to start with the Detroit Lions.
Do we have any same picks?
We have 2 that we shared and 2 that we didn't share. The 2 that we shared are Barry Sanders and Calvin Johnson.
Okay.
So, obviously Megatron.
Right.
Always considered a top 5 wide receiver ever.
Yep.
That might change with some current receivers in the NFL. There's like DeAndre Hopkins and Devontae Adams are moving up.
Right.
Barry Sanders, most people say he retired in his prime. If he would have kept going and was on an actual good team, would have probably been a championship easily. Personally, outside of like Walter Payton, Jim Brown, couple other like big names, like I think Barry Sanders is top 5 running back ever.
Yeah.
So I think you can make the argument he's the best ever.
Yep, he's up there.
So I agreed when I saw that you said Barry and Calvin. One little thing, when I was doing my Mount Rushmore, I'm only doing 1 player per position. So if a team has 2 really famous quarterbacks or really popular, I'm only picking 1. I did that, all honesty, because it made it easier on myself. So I didn't have to choose, like, oh, if I include both quarterbacks, I have to cut out this really good defensive player. So
my philosophy was, you know more about football than I do. I took the names that I know. So, like, Barry Sanders, Megatron. I saw Megatron. You know, I've seen highlights of Barry Sanders.
I did debate Stafford for a second as well.
Okay.
I debated it.
Okay. And then if I didn't know who exactly to go with, I referenced like other people's lists, the greatest ones. I looked at the stats and stuff.
Sure.
And then if I didn't know who to pick for the last one, I did the name I recognized. So
I think name recognition is a huge part of their fame anyway.
Yeah.
So, for example, a couple people on the Lions that I left off. So Doak Walker, because running back, and Barney I left off because he was a corner. So I think he was a corner. Anyway, they shared positions with players I had on here. So, that's why. Joe, the next person you said was Joe Schmidt, who's a linebacker.
Mm-hmm. This was one of the ones where I looked up, his stats
when
and everything.
You sent me that, I was like, interesting pick.
Yeah. I looked up his stats, and apparently he was just a monster.
Yeah, he was a monster.
So, yeah.
And then you said a name that I also considered.
This is the one that I looked through like
Dick LeBeau.
Yeah, and this is the name recognition. I recognize that, so that's why I had him there.
I considered Dick LeBeau, but he shares a position with the guy I put on there, which is Dick Lane. Night Train Lane is he's better known for. Probably one of the hardest hitting corners when you take out safeties. Probably one of the hardest hitting corners that's ever played in the league. And for people that play Madden, Night Train Lane always gets a 99 overall with 99 hit power card in Mutt. I don't play Mutt, but people know Night Train Lane thanks to Madden, a lot of like younger people. But Night Train Lane, Dick Lane, absolutely, I put him on there. And then Bobby Lane, quarterback, he actually has a story behind Bobby Lane. They call the reasons why the Lions aren't good anymore, they call it the curse of Bobby Lane.
I think I read this.
So he gave, I think it was either 2 or 3 championships. I think it was 3 championships. And as he was in his prime, they traded him to the Pittsburgh Steelers. And ever since then, they haven't gone back to the championship. Yeah. But he won their first 3 when it was still called the National Championship before Super Bowl. He was the quarterback that took him there.
Got it.
So I put him in on there because he has that whole famous, the curse of, and maybe if you put him on Mount Rushmore, you could revert that curse and get back in.
Got it. You want the Lions to be good?
I want every team to be good. I think it's more satisfying to beat a good team than it is to. I don't want to beat every team 56-0 because they suck. Like it feels when I beat when the Packers go 13-3 and then the next year you 2-0 them, that feels way better than beating a team like the Lions every year.
I think the Lions have just kind of been a joke. Like we never, as NFC North fans, or NFC North,
you're never scared.
We're never scared.
That's also the team I've seen the most in person. When I go to Vikings games, the games I've seen them play against the most is the Lions games. So I like the Lions. Like if I had to pick another team to root for in the NFC North, I'm going to hurt myself even more and pick the next worst team.
Right.
So Lions.
Okay.
Next, Bears. We're going to close out with the Vikings.
Okay.
Hit them hard. Bears.
There's a lot of similarities in this.
We have 2 2 again. Or wait, no, we have 3 this time.
I thought, and I picked the last one thinking you would pick the last one because I know how much you love the player I picked.
So the player that we didn't agree on, you picked Brian Urlacher.
I thought for sure like this is the one Luke's gonna pick.
Brian Urlacher is one of my favorite players ever. He's the first player I watched in person that made me think, oh, maybe I don't want to be a running back. I think I want to be a linebacker. Like, I remember they were playing the Vikings. He lined up in the middle. Then he faded. He was like doing one of the pre-snap fades to the left. The Vikings went opposite, and he got the tackle on the far sideline.
Yeah.
And I was like, this guy is unstoppable. And he was the scariest person. Like, he was just there, and he was just
a very recognizable
image. I wanted to put Urlacher there, but I thought if I was from Chicago, I think I would put Mike Singletary there instead.
Got it.
So I think Mike Singletary is more famous as a middle linebacker. Maybe young people would say different.
Sure.
But I thought Mike Singletary as a historical, Mount Rushmore. Yep. Because of putting Mike Singletary on there, I just want to let people know that is why Dick Butkus is not on my Mount Rushmore.
I was going to put him too.
That is why Bronco Nagurski is not on there, and it is why Brian Urlacher is not on there. Bronco Nagurski, I wanted to initially, first of all, because he played like 6 positions. He played like defensive end, linebacker, offensive line, and he went to the Minnesota Gophers. He's in the Gophers Hall of Fame. So I wanted to put him there, but it's like Mike Singletary is better than all these. Maybe Dick Butkus was better, but Mike Singletary I thought would be who they would pick. Just like I left Gale Sayers off because one of the similarities we have is Walter Payton, most people's number 1 running back of all time.
Yeah.
Walter Payton, when I think Walter Payton, I think of the Christmas video, to be honest, where the 85 Bears did like that Christmas holiday special.
I remember that.
Yeah, I think of Walter Payton because he actually looked, fun. But yeah, we agreed with Walter Payton. I think it's obvious why. One of the best running backs ever, if not the best.
Speaking of the best ever,
Devin Hester.
The
best kick returner and punt returner ever. The first player in Madden to get 100 speed when they were doing 100 stats.
People now that could have 100 speed.
Tyreek Hill, Cole Hardman. Yeah. Actually, Tyreek's faster, I think. So,
yeah, it's crazy. Cheetah.
Yeah. But yeah, Devin Hester, we both put on.
Yeah.
When I saw that, I thought that was going to be one that I put that you didn't.
Really? No, for sure.
I think a lot of people wouldn't put him because they'd put Butkus over Hester. They'd put Sid Luckman over Hester.
I think for us, and we both the returner position, we both have like a very we love that position.
Yeah.
Like when we had Cordarrelle, we were so happy to have like the best at
special teams is the most underrated aspect of football.
Yeah. So when we had Cordarrelle, we just absolutely, every time we caught the ball, we could take it back. And that was super exciting because we take it 9 yards deep no matter what. Yep. But just run it out.
Mm-hmm.
So, being a Bears fan during that time and being able to see Devin Hester do that constantly.
Yeah. Devin Hester, you couldn't punt to him. You couldn't kick to him.
Right.
And when Pat McAfee even said when he joined the league that the same thing was said about Antonio Brown, or no, Tyreek Hill. He was just told, punt it out of bounds.
Yeah.
Don't let him or take it. I'm sure constantly teams were like, kick it out of bounds, punt it out of bounds, don't let him take it. And that was back before it got moved up.
Yeah.
So he could always return it. Yeah. And he was just, I always thought like 30-yard line was a good stop of Devin Hester. So yeah, I like that we put that same thing. And then the last similarity, Ditka. And that is a big part of why I picked him, because not only is he one of the best tight ends ever, a lot of people outside of Chicago, when they hear Bears, they think Ditka. Sausage. So he's one of the most famous Bears and Bears personalities.
And he has a mustache.
And he has a killer mustache.
Yeah, so
Ditka ended up on both our lists. Yeah, I had a lot of players that I had a hard time choosing from. I like a lot of historical players, and that's on every team. So there are players that hurt to not put on there. And as a joke, I did write down Jay Cutler and Rex Grossman, but obviously I didn't put them on the final thing.
My very first, I was just starting to get into football, like hardcore, and I watched a Vikings and Bears game, and this was the first time I've seen Jay Cutler he threw 6 interceptions the very first time. But then with the Bears quarterback woes of late, they'd probably kill for Jay Cutler.
I think they would have rather had Cutler over somebody like Trubisky. They'd probably rather have Cutler over Foles.
Yeah. There's a string there where
they're happy with Fields. I would be happy with Fields. So, I think it's going to turn around for them. Again, I don't want to root for players to be bad.
Right.
So I'm not going to root for Fields to be bad, but man, I really hope he doesn't just murder us.
Yeah.
But yeah, so that's the Bears. Next is the Packers.
This was tough because there's so many recognizable.
And when you go to the historical aspect of it, it's like, okay, I could pick the first 10 players listed because all these guys helped them win 4 championships.
Right. Yeah.
Including the first.
Yeah.
We both had, I think we might only have had one. No, we had 2 similarities on the Packers, too. We had Curly Lambeau, running back, tight end, and head coach.
And just the name, too.
And now it's Lambeau Field.
So, that's...
neither of us included Lombardi, but...
Yeah, I thought about that, too. I thought you would, so I didn't.
Nope.
Yeah.
Yeah, I did leave off a few that I think people would be upset about, but... I did not include Hornung, and I think he's a big one. But, we both said Curly Lambeau. Obvious, Lambeau Field.
Right.
Led them to championships. He was a player that became part owner and coach. So, then you picked 2 quarterbacks. I picked 1. However, you picked 2 previous, and I picked the current quarterback, Aaron Rodgers, on their Mount Rushmore. Mm-hmm. I would like to see what people's reaction is.
The current quarterback is...
Jordan Love?
Yeah.
Speaking of Aaron Rodgers, that news came out, he did not accept a $40+ million extension.
The highest paid quarterback?
The highest paid player. Because he would...
And quarterback.
Because it's not about the money. Just want to toss that in there. But I put Aaron Rodgers on the Packers, Mount Rushmore, because I think he's the best quarterback they've ever had.
Right.
And he's potentially, when you consider just, if you were to take winning... aside, not include that, he might be the best quarterback ever.
Yeah.
So, I put Aaron Rodgers on there. You put Bart Starr.
Yeah.
And
kind of throwback.
Bert Favre.
Yeah. I put Brett Favre.
Yep.
Because I think he kind of if not for Brett Favre, would Aaron Rodgers be the person he is today? He kind of not necessarily like the talent's all there and whatever, but very similar situation between Brett Favre and Aaron Rodgers.
So he took Rodgers under his wing a little bit, or his tutelage.
I think it's kind of this very similar situation. Favre and Rodgers and Love, except it's being handled differently. They ended up just trading Favre to the Jets with a note where he can't get traded to the Vikings. So I hope that's not a stipulation if they end up trading Rodgers, because love to see him in purple.
I'll take him.
Yeah, same.
We mentioned that last time. I'll take him.
Yeah. So and just recognizable. I think Favre and his NFL leading interceptions. Just something you want to put on a Mount Rushmore.
Yeah. Interceptions.
Yep.
Mm-hmm. Like Babe Ruth led most strikeouts.
Yeah.
And then you listed Bart Starr.
Yeah, so
first Super Bowl, I think so. And then the similarities we had outside of Curly Lambeau, the other one was Don Hudson.
Yeah, just a multi-positional
4-time champion, and who played tight end, wide receiver, safety, and he was Lambeau's assistant coach.
Yeah,
so that was why I think historical everything, and I left off Starr and Favre because of Rodgers.
Yeah.
There we go. And last but not least...
You got one more.
Oh, yeah, I forgot my... Yeah, last but not... That's what I meant. Last but not least.
For you, yeah.
For me, yeah.
Just make sure that's where you
I put Reggie White, where you put Favre or Starr, where you put a second quarterback. I put Reggie White. A lot of people think Reggie White for the Eagles, so I was like, oh, do I want to do Reggie White? That's where I was thinking I might put Hornung. But I decided Reggie White just because... he's the best defensive player the Packers have ever had, maybe besides Charles Woodson, who was another person I considered. But yeah, Reggie White, because he would still be a threat today, and That was my personal opinion.
Sure.
Now, last but not least, Vikings. We had
Ponder,
3.
Joe Webb.
Yes, we had 3
Walsh.
that were the same. Christian Ponder, Joe Webb, and Geronimo Allison. No, so Randy Moss.
Yeah.
The best wide receiver of all time.
Yeah.
Because he didn't have to use Stickum.
Yeah.
Randall McDaniel. The best offensive lineman that we've ever had.
Yeah, and I definitely wanted to try to... I picked him because I want to channel that really good offensive lineman energy and put it into our offensive line.
That would
year.
be... Which is why me putting Randall McDaniel kept Ron Yeri was another one. I was considering Yeri, but I was like, Randall McDaniel. And my dad's favorite player ever was Randall McDaniel.
Sure.
And Fran Tarkenton.
Sure.
Which Fran Tarkenton's not on either of our lists.
Nope.
If he was a Super Bowl winning quarterback, he probably would be. But, we both said Randall McDaniel. We both said Moss. We both said Paul Krause.
Yeah. Interceptions leader. Yeah. So I wonder how many of those could have been Brett Favre.
Right. But yeah, we both put Krause. The Vikings were hard. There were some players there were some linebackers that I was considering. I had Harrison Smith as a consideration.
Okay.
Just because he might not have the interceptions that Krause has, but when he does get picks, they're 6.
Yeah, I was hoping like if we could get these teams together and we put like my Packer team, my like Packer Mount Rushmore versus my like Viking Mount Rushmore, and it was Favre versus Krause. That'd be awesome to see because then it'd just be interception machines.
Yeah, I was trying to think. I was like, Harry might be better than Krause, and so I considered it.
That record, though.
But no one's touching that record. And it's one of those people that a lot of people that aren't from Minnesota think of Krause.
Right.
Just like that was the reason I considered Tarkenton, but didn't put Tarkenton. So sorry, Dad, I didn't put Tarkenton on my Mount Rushmore. And then the one where we disagreed. So I did not put Carl Eller or John Randall on my Mount Rushmore because I put Alan Page on there, which we mentioned in the last episode with the newly added statistics. If they did count stats back then, he would have the most sacks ever for a defensive tackle. He actually averaged more sacks a season than John Randall and Carl Eller. So I just picked him. He was the best purple people eater to me. And you had to get somebody from that defense on the Mount Rushmore just because the Vikings, one of the most things they're most famous for outside of being 0 for 4 in Super Bowls is the purple people eaters and kickers missing.
Yeah, 27 yards left hash.
Gary Anderson as well. Like just no.
Because what was the thing? Because we're the Vikings.
Yeah, because we're the Vikings.
That's the reason.
And then you put a running back when I was thinking running backs, I thought...
Welding Moore.
No, I wrote it down because I thought it was interesting that if out of all the running backs, because there is another...
Yeah, there's a lot of good ones.
Chuck Foreman. That was the one. The other, by the way, Matt Blair was the linebacker I was thinking of. And like
Herschel Walker.
Yeah, yes. I was considering Devontae Adams for the Packers, Ray Nitschke for the Packers, Jim Taylor, Herb Adderley. The Bears, I did consider Gale Sayers, mentioned Bronco. I did consider Khalil Mack. And for the Lions, I did consider a few, like Billy Sims, Lomas Brown. So for the people and Herman Moore, Jason Hansen, a kicker, I actually considered him.
Right.
So like for the people that get mad about that, like they were considered. Yeah. This is just and this is like we ended up with our personal.
If you want us to really dig down deep and make a statistical analysis of who we actually think should be on their Mount Rushmore, we could do that.
But this is our personal Mount Rushmore, who I think, if I were from these areas, this is who I would pick.
Right.
So then you picked Adrian Peterson.
I did.
Fun fact. So I've had a few, like I do mock drafts all the time. College football is one of my favorite things. And I like being able to see potential. Like, I love when I make a hit on somebody. Like, I thought that guy was going to be super popular. Like, I said, Dak Prescott, I thought that year the Saints were going to take him in the first round and have him replace Drew Brees. And I was like, he's a good quarterback. And he ended up going late. And I thought Russell Wilson was a first-round quarterback. And so there's a couple people I've really hit on. I thought Quentin Nelson should be one of the top picks.
But on the
On the other side, I thought Kevin Love was going to be a bust. I thought Adrian Peterson was going to be a bust. I thought he was too fumble heavy. My dad and I remember we were in the airport, and Adrian Peterson was on the cover in his Sooners jersey on a magazine saying, like, what pick will Adrian Peterson go? And he was projected to go to the Vikings, and then he was projected potentially one pick before the Vikings. And I said, good, I hope he's gone so they don't take him. I don't want him. I don't want AP. Him and Kevin Love are my two biggest, like, swing and a miss. We're not giving you 3 strikes. You struck out on that miss. Like, I failed so hard. I thought AP was...
You have those. You have those.
Yeah.
Nothing's as worse as, like, you failed twice, but it's not as bad as the Portland Trail Blazers. They took Greg Oden over Kevin Durant. So
that was another one. I had Kevin Durant as the top pick. I thought Kevin Durant was better than Greg Oden, and I was right.
Yes, you were.
There was one. I mean, most people had him in the top 2, so it wasn't a hard one to miss. You had a 50-50 shot.
Right.
But yeah, Trailblazers, they have a bunch that they've missed on.
Yeah, every team does.
Yeah, every team. I mean, the Timberwolves were trending after the Bucks won because they were the first thing trending after the Bucks won.
Yeah.
One, because people were talking about how small team markets have a chance. Well, that's not true, but also, like, they were trending because
Steph Curry.
They took they took Rubio and Johnny Flynn, even though Steph said he wouldn't play for us.
Yeah, he wouldn't play for us. His dad told David Kahn, Del Curry told David Kahn that my son will not play for you. But,
right, just like Klay Thompson said he wouldn't play for us. James Wiseman said he wouldn't play for us.
Yeah.
Jonathan Isaac said he wouldn't play for us.
Yeah.
So, that's why they didn't take Steph Curry. But they took Johnny Flynn and Ricky Rubio instead of Steph, and they took... there was one pick before Giannis. They took
Shabazz Muhammad.
They took Shabazz Muhammad. But yeah, you took... back to football. You took Adrian Peterson.
Yeah.
And I don't disagree with it. I thought if I were to put a running back, I would have put Mweldy Moore.
Yeah. I mean, the second most yards in the season by a running back.
Yeah, he was
we were there 9
yards away. 9 yards away.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, he was 9 yards. He was further than that, and then they recounted all the stats, found extra yards, and he still wasn't quite there. Yeah. And I wanted them to give it to him, just like he also has the most in a single game with 296.
Yeah, against the Chargers.
Yeah, and they wouldn't give him another carry to break 300, and people were mad. They're like, they don't want him to get hurt.
Yeah.
And you think he probably was like, put me in.
Yeah.
This is a dude that he tore his ACL because he was playing in a meaningless game.
Yeah.
I wish he would have beat it. And then the only reason I'm not a big fan of Eric Dickerson is because of his reaction saying he was so happy AP didn't break his record.
Yeah. Records are meant to be broken.
Like, I get it. Like, I like having a record. Like, who wouldn't want to be the record holder? But it was so, like, it was the delivery of it was so smug.
Yeah.
Like, I expect my famous celebrities and athletes to be petty. And they're going to be petty and competitive, otherwise they wouldn't be where they are.
Right.
But the way he delivered it just made me just so mad. Sure. I was like, ugh. But yeah, so I'm fine with you putting AP. Outside of his fumble issues, especially his first few years, he was like a near perfect running back.
He was the
you wanted.
Face of our franchise for however long.
I mean, he made Christian Ponder a playoff quarterback.
Yeah.
He made...
You mean the playoffs we would have won?
Yeah, with him in there. Sage Rosenfels was in there with him. Brad Johnson.
Yeah.
I mean, all these guys had... If AP had...
Kirk Cousins.
Even if AP had Kirk Cousins in front of him. Oh, man. I mean, Dalvin Cook's amazing.
Oh, yeah.
But he's not AP.
He's not AP.
If AP
They're
can
different
catch,
running backs, too.
Yeah, exactly. Dalvin blocks better.
Yeah.
Dalvin can catch.
AP's a more straight line guy. Dalvin's a...
Right. Yep. And the thing with AP is, like, he'd get 2 yards, -1, 2 yards, 3 yards, 86 yards.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I like that. And, that was it. I hope you liked that new segment.
That was our first Mount Rushmore.
That was our first Mount Rushmore. We're going to do the entire NFL. So this was the NFC North. We'll see what we do next. Yep. We can either stick with the NFC. Maybe we'll go AFC North. We can either stick with the same cardinal direction, or maybe we can go to another NFC team. But hope you enjoyed that segment. That was Big Hard Heads.
Yeah.
That was Mount Rushmore. So
You said cardinal direction. Does that mean we're doing
that's the north,
Cardinals?
east, west.
I know.
Oh, okay.
We're doing the Cardinals?
So Cardinals, so that'd be NFC South, NFC West, NFC West,
yeah.
best division in football.
Yeah.
We could do them.
You did say Cardinal.
I did say cardinal direction, so maybe we'll do NFC West next time.
Yeah.
All right, that's it for that segment. The next thing before we move on to another new segment, I wanted to talk about some Madden real quick, just because there will be Madden videos on this channel when Madden 22 comes out. Madden franchise is like one of my favorite things to do in video games. We had a question before we started even episode 1 of this podcast when we were discussing like what are things that could be talked about in this podcast. Does Madden care about fullback rankings? And I think the answer is no. Because CJ Ham has consistently been like a top fullback.
Yep.
And he's like a 7. He's like the 3rd or 4th highest, or he's a top 10 fullback in Madden still.
He's a 73.
But he's a 73.
Yeah.
And you have guys like Juszczyk and Ricard.
And when I remember this is back when AP just had that monster season. I believe the fullback was Jerome Felton.
And Jerome was like a
96, something like that. Even when he went to the Bills.
When the Patriots won the last Super Bowl with the Patriots, Devlin was like a 90 something.
Yeah. In my opinion, there is elite fullbacks, and just like any position, they should be regarded as elite. So
you should do something in the coding. Like, it might be a little bit more difficult. You might have to work out some bugs, but you should do something to make awareness more important for a fullback than a halfback, or blocking weighs way more for a fullback, or strength means more for a fullback.
Yeah, and there's utility like I think the thing is like blocking and utility. Like,
and half the teams don't have any fullbacks.
Yeah, the fullbacks in Madden, for instance, are blocking and utility. Like that's the 2 different kinds of fullbacks you can have.
Yep.
So
I think they might have added more this year, but we'll see.
Like there is fullbacks that just block, but then there's the utility guys. Like Juszczyk can do multiple things. CJ Ham is basically a running back in a fullback spot. He was a running back, and then they're like, hey, if you want to make our team, we need you to put on some weight and be a fullback for us. So like
he's so good.
CJ Ham's blocking should be really good. Juszczyk's blocking should be really good. Juszczyk's catching should be really good.
And the guys that are starting fullbacks and still do special teams should also get they're good enough to start in 2 separate areas.
Yeah.
Like CJ Ham plays special teams.
Yeah.
So I don't think they care enough about fullback rankings. Madden guys, devs, if you're watching, which of course you are.
Yeah, one of the 42 people. Gotta be one of them.
One of those 42 viewers from last video.
Give love to the fullbacks because they deserve it.
And CJ Ham, and Patrick Ricard, he played defensive line in college and high school, and he played fullback I think in high school. He should be in 90 as well. He doesn't have to be 99 or as high as CJ Ham as like 95, but it should be Ham, Juszczyk, and Ricard should be 90s because they are 90 fullbacks, and that's why the teams keep them. Next Madden thing, they just came out with... Actually, speaking of those fullback rankings, there was a couple recent quotes from Madden that I did not appreciate. It's really the only the big gripe that I have. I try to be positive when it comes to Madden because I understand they're a business and all that sort of thing. So they do get ragged on pretty hard. So I try to be understanding with Madden, but they had a couple quotes. They were talking about how things worked well for us in Madden 21. So we're gonna stick with that. They've talked about this in multiple different aspects of the game. This sort of fundamentals of the game worked well for us last year, so we're going to do that again. And this worked well in the past, or this sort of aspect of the game worked well in the past, so we're going to try to keep that going. So from that business standpoint, that makes sense. But again, with the fullbacks, you're telling me instead of improving upon anything or giving players something to look forward to, you'd rather do if it ain't broken, don't fix it.
Right.
No, you should constantly be trying to improve and make people want to buy the game.
Be constantly adapting your game. How can I make this game better?
Right. So when they said in the most recent interviews that they're fine doing what they did in the past, it really was upsetting. And the main thing that I was looking at recently, they just came out with their deep dive and they talked about their new scouting. They talked about how certain things in scouting worked in the past and they're going to stick with it. That's not what I want to hear, because anything to do with franchise mode, almost everything is disappointing for people. Like, we want to be able to play on the same team online. We don't want to have to go up against each other and have like a 32-man, everybody goes up. I want to be like, if I want, I could have 64 players and have 2 people play on each team. Like, I just want you and I to play as the Vikings.
Right.
And
even our other buddy, get him in there.
You, me, and Mike all on playing the Vikings or the Dolphins.
Right.
That would be super fun, and I just like those sort of improvements. But mainly, when they talked about in scouting, I'll just give you a quick rundown. You have a team of scouts now. It's not a pool of points that you get every week. It's a team of scouts that you send to different parts of the country, and different parts of the country are listed and broken up into different sections, and each one is listed as different players that you get. Like, oh, this part of the country is better for quarterbacks, so you want to send your head scout to that quarterback, and you get more bonuses and you get like better details on them. And then also other teams now, so not only will the best player not be available in number 5th round and just sit there and nobody picks them anymore, but other teams react to what you do. So if you send your head scout to a guy that was projected as a 6th round pick, other teams will send their scouts to watch him too, and then he shoots up the draft board.
Right.
And if a player has 3 good games and you see it on the news, his draft, he doesn't become a 6th round pick with hidden development. He becomes a 1st round pick.
Right.
And then they did give away, which I didn't think they meant to based on his facial expression, they gave away that if you get a guy that his scouting report says he's a top 5 pick, it's a lock that he's going to be an 80 overall or something, and basically a guaranteed lock.
I mean, if you think about it, I think if you did a redraft of this last draft, Herbert and Justin Jefferson, they'd be in this they'd be in the top 5 range, pick, and they're in the 80s. So I think that's a fair assessment.
Yeah. But yeah, that was it for scouting and Madden. I just wanted to drop that in quick because I do want to talk about Madden when there is something to talk about. Did have a couple of those gripes, but that's it there. And then we're going to move on to the next segment. All right, so like I said, we're doing a new segment. This new segment is called AllSTARters. So All-Star starters. It is going to be the starters of each division all broken down. So you get the 4 teams to choose from in the division, and you create your starting lineup from their teams. So we're going to start with the NFC North, because that's where we are. And we're going to go from there. So we're going to go all the way from quarterback all the way down to the coaches, defense, long snapper. We're going to do the whole starting roster.
The whole kit and caboodle.
The whole kit and caboodle for the all-starters for the NFC North. All right? So we're starting with quarterback. We went Aaron...
Jared Goff.
Yeah, we went Aaron Rodgers from the Green Bay Packers. Starting running back, we have 2 running backs, running back 1 and 2. Starter, we have Dalvin Cook.
Yep.
And then
running back 2 last year.
Running back 2, yeah.
So, Derrick Henry.
And then running back 3 last year, I think.
Yeah, well, running back 1 2 years ago.
Yeah. We have Aaron Jones as the number 2 back for the all-starters. Our fullback, we've mentioned, CJ Ham.
Easily a top fullback in this league.
Yeah, a top 3 fullback in the league. So we'll take Dalvin Cook being blocked for by CJ Ham. We'll take Aaron Jones being blocked for by CJ Ham. We'll take a 3-man backfield. We'll take Rodgers out of there, and we'll do the what the Georgia Southern does, the triple option with just Aaron Jones, CJ Ham, Dalvin. All right, wide receiver 1, Davante Adams.
Wide receiver. He was wide receiver 2 last year.
Who was wide receiver 2. We'll take Davante Adams as our top.
Touchdown machine.
Yeah. And with Aaron Rodgers as your starting quarterback, would love Davante. Wide receiver 2, in my opinion, probably
just a talent of a wide receiver. In bad circumstance, amazing talent.
Probably one of the most underrated wide receivers in the entire league. Playing on franchise tag this year, Allen Robinson, the 2. I believe he's the 2.
Yeah,
he's Allen Robinson 2.
Is he 2?
I believe he's a 2.
12.
Well, no, like he's not a junior. He's the 2nd.
Oh yeah,
he's the 2.
Oh yeah.
We took Devontae Adams, then Allen Robinson, and then wide receiver 3, Justin Jefferson, and our slot is Adam Thielen.
Another touchdown machine.
So you have
We're going 4 wideouts.
If you're running 4 wide, you have, and that's disgusting.
Yeah.
So Aaron Rodgers,
Jefferson's in the slot.
Aaron Rodgers under center or in shotgun looks right. Devontae looks left and he sees Allen Robinson and Justin Jefferson, and then in the slot he sees Adam Thielen, and I don't think he stops smiling at that point.
He doesn't smile though.
Yeah, he does. He smiles.
He's out with
Usually he smiles when he knows he's about to score a touchdown. Then we went to our offensive line, starting with left tackle. In my opinion, the best left tackle in football. Yep. David Takatari, Bakhtiari. Left guard, Elgton Jenkins, also from the Packers, who last year he played center, right guard, left guard for them. He goes all over, and every time he's played in those positions, he's ranked in like the top 10 as production-wise. So as our left guard to anchor with Bakhtiari, we'll have Elgton. At center, we have Frank Ragnow from the Lions. That's our first Lion, if you're keeping track. Frank Ragnow, he's a terrific center. I would have put Lindsley here, but with him being gone...
I was also going to put Lindsley.
Yeah, but with him being on the Chargers now, take Ragnow. And we are going to do just a little thing since we're at this point here. We are going to do substitutions. So there are players that if they are an inside linebacker that would work really well as an outside, we're going to move them there. If they have history playing center and guard, we're going to do that. And same with coaches. If they have history at different positions, we're going to put them there.
With ends, like defensive ends are interchangeable.
Defensive end, D-line.
Safeties.
Exact. Safeties are perfect. So we will be doing that. So to transition into that, our right guard is going to be Cody Whitehair. So yes, he plays center for the Bears, but he did play guard, and he's actually a really, really good guard. Right. So
health issues a little bit with him, but
exactly. Otherwise, we would do James Daniels from the Bears, but Whitehair is better in our opinion.
We're building the All-Stars.
If you wanted to, if you would rather have Whitehair at center and Ragnow at right guard, that is also acceptable. That is acceptable. I think that's good. And Ragnow, I believe, is bigger, so he probably would be better at guard. So you have the smaller guy at center. Right tackle. This is probably where now that people know that we can sub. This is where people might disagree and say you should have Taylor Decker there. Then, well, we want Brian O'Neill as our right tackle.
He's one of the, like you said, underrated. One of the most underrated guys.
He finished at number 10 as in the overall right tackle blocking last year. He was number 10. And for going into this year, he is a ranked right tackle, however you want to put it. He is top graded by a couple of the people. So
just in general, since he's came in, I forgot who we had there. Rashad Hill, or we had someone there. They got hurt. Mm-hmm. Brian O'Neill came in, and it was his job from then on. So
yeah. Yep.
The only thing that knocked him out was chop block.
He's super athletic.
Crazy athletic.
He used to play tight end, so he's quickly fast. So it's really nice when you get those edge rushers like a Zadarius and Preston Smith, like a Khalil Mack. It's nice to have a super athletic guy. Khalil Mack does kind of eat him alive, but he eats everyone.
Yeah. He's only allowed 4 sacks, I think, in his whole career.
Fun fact. There was a lineman, I believe it was Frank Ragnow, has allowed 1 sack.
Yeah.
So
protection for Aaron Rodgers.
Aaron Rodgers with this O-line and these wide receivers. I'm interested when we do these all-starters for other divisions, how they compare, because this team is disgusting. For tight end, really weak in the NFC North, I figured out, because I thought this was easy because the other teams had no picks. TJ Hawkinson, because he's better than Conklin, he's better than Irv Smith, he's better than Shaheen or whoever the Bears have at their starter right now. And the Packers, Tunyon, you could pick Tunyon if you wanted to. Hawkinson's better.
Yeah.
So TJ Hawkinson, I think, was an easy choice. We went with Hawkinson there from the Lions. Another Lion, look at him go. Left end, we have Danielle Hunter. I don't think we need to give you an explanation of why.
Especially if you're NFC North fans, you're up here where we are,
you see Daniil.
Yeah.
Like, Daniil and Dalvin are the two most recognizable players outside of Minnesota. I was looking at some research that I can't remember who was doing it, but they were the outside of their home state. Which players do other fans know outside of that state? And the two from the Vikings were Daniil Hunter and Dalvin Cook. So everyone knows who Daniil is. Yeah. Everyone knows he's a top pick. Everyone, when they were talking about Daniil potentially not wanting to be on the Vikings anymore, everyone's like, we'll take him.
Yeah, so, the Vikings were like, okay, we're just going to put that to rest, and here's your money.
Yeah, they gave him extra money this year, so he's staying. So Daniil is our left end. Our right end, who both of us thought was a defensive tackle, but listed...
He's always at D tackle when he goes up against us.
He's always at D tackle, but... on the Bears depth chart, on the Bears website, and on there was another website that was listing depth charts. He's listed as a defensive end. So, I count this as a win. On the right end, we'll take Akeem Hicks.
Just a monster run stopper.
He was not listed as a top 10 interior defensive lineman.
I mean, whenever he goes up against us, Dalvin can't run...
Yeah,
this way.
Nobody
he can't run straight.
Yep.
He's got to go out.
With the Packers not having Lindsley this year, I want to see if Akeem Hicks can, he causes
healthy again.
Yeah,
he needs to stay healthy again.
So I think he's going to cause a lot of issues. And so like the Lions have Ragnow, Bradbury gets eaten.
Yeah, Bradbury gets eaten, and we have Dozier. Like Dozier's going to.
Yeah.
Sometimes it looks like Dozier's rushing
going to be a rookie. If it's not Dozier, it's Wyatt Davis or Ezra Cleveland.
Yeah. So. Sometimes it looks like Dozier is rushing Kirk. He's just turned around.
Oh, God. So, yeah, we'll take Akeem Hicks.
Yeah.
Right end. We'll swap him into the interior when we're doing 3 linemen, defensive linemen down. We're doing a 4-3.
That's what our Vikings run, so that's what we're running.
And as you'll see later, our defensive coordinator might run a 4-3. Defensive tackle is Michael Pierce from the Vikings. And before you jump to conclusions, our other defensive tackle / nose tackle is Kenny Clark. Kenny Clark is listed as a nose tackle, not a D tackle, so...
Nothing is getting by our defensive line.
If you could swap Akeem Hicks in the center, you could have Kenny Clark, Akeem Hicks, Michael Pierce, Akeem Hicks, Michael Pierce, Kenny Clark, doesn't matter. They're going to get...
No one's running on us.
And then we have 3 linebackers and an edge position. So one player, if you could pick, all they do is blitz the quarterback. They don't really drop into coverage. Maybe they cover a flat, but it's mainly the edge rusher. Our edge rusher is Khalil Mack.
This is a
could have ended up a Viking,
choice.
But he just taken 2 picks before Anthony Barr after we traded down so the Browns could get Justin Gilbert.
Good pick by them. I think he was then traded for a 6th-round pick.
Yeah, then he out of the league.
Yep.
Khalil Mack is who we picked as our edge rusher. I think another one we don't need to explain.
Aaron Rodgers, I'm sure, is happy having him on his team.
Yeah. The linebackers. We did another substitution. We have 2 interior linebackers. However, one of them we put it outside because he would fit there really well. So first we did Zadarius Smith of the 2 Smith brothers that are in the Packers. We did Zadarius Smith as our left outside, so that would be our weak side linebacker. Our Mike linebacker, or I think that would be Mike for the outside, or it was Mike, whatever. The strong side linebacker, our right side outside, is Roquan Smith. So instead of putting him as an interior, we subbed him to the outside. He is better than Anthony Barr, so obviously we'd rather have Roquan out there. And then our middle linebacker is Eric Kendricks, who personally, middle
linebacker in football
outside of Minnesota, a lot of people might not agree with us, but Eric Kendricks, he's a top 3 linebacker, middle linebacker in football, and I don't think he's number 3. You can argue with me, but Levante David, Deion Jones, Bobby Wagner should have been my first name. Bobby Wagner is the best. Fred Warner. There's a few you can argue, but in my opinion, Eric Kendricks is better than a couple of those guys. I'll let you fight with
flies around.
Yeah, he's super fast. He's a stiff tackler. He is a good rusher and the A-gap or outside. If you wanted to put Roquan in the middle and have Eric Kendricks be your outside,
that'll still work.
Yeah, if anything, that might be better. But Eric Kendricks also, super high football IQ and makes plays similar to like Urlacher, Ray Lewis in the sense of they make a lot of play calls. When Eric Kendricks came in, Harrison Smith didn't have to do play calls on defense anymore because he's smart. So we'll take Eric Kendricks as our middle. Now we'll go to our D-backs. Corner 1 is, which, by the way, I did not realize how weak the corners in the NFC North are.
This is, I would say, this is our weak point until we maybe get to our safeties. But
I didn't realize how bad. I was like, I don't know who I want.
Yeah.
CB1.
This one is we knew. I think that first one.
Jair Alexander. He's the best corner in the NFC North. He's a top 10 corner in the league. So we'll take Jair. Corner 2, Desmond Trufant.
I'm hoping he gets back to Atlanta.
If he gets back to Atlanta, he's up there with Jair. Not as good, but he's really good. If he doesn't get back up there, you might not even want him on this starting roster because he fell off pretty hard. But if he does come back, he's a good pick. This is CB3 is where we had a little bit of a disagreement. So we considered Patrick Peterson or Jeff Okudah.
And you're in my opinion, I had Patty P on my original list, and I'm hoping, like Desmond Trufant, if you can get back to that kind of prime thing.
Last year he struggled. It was his worst year of his career. So if he could get back, I know he's getting a little older. If he could get back, it'd be nice to have Patty P there. But because of his age and because of Okudah's poor rookie year, we actually went with all-rookie first team Cam Dantzler as our third string corner. I don't think he's bad as a third string. I think you could question if we had him at 1 or 2. Obviously at 1, but you can't question that he's number 3. And our slot is welcome back Mackenzie Alexander.
Yeah.
Mackenzie Alexander was the 3rd-ranked slot corner last year behind Brian Poole and I think Roby Coleman, or it might have been somebody else, but I know it was Brian Poole number 1 and Mackenzie Alexander number 3. We'll take Mackenzie Alexander.
Even just his first stint with the Vikings, his last year of his rookie deal, he just emerged as a top slot corner.
If he didn't get hurt before the NFL draft, he would have been a first-round pick, or he was projected to be one. So he's a really good corner from Clemson, super good. Our free safety, so here's another one where we kind of manipulated it. Free safety, we went with Harrison Smith. He lines up at both, so we'll take Harry as our free safety. Yeah. He's potentially the best safety in Vikings history, and he's 100% he's been the highest rated safety in Madden multiple times, so everyone knows Harrison Smith is amazing. And strong safety is where we manipulated. Eddie Jackson plays free safety. He was listed as a free safety. We put him as our strong safety because of how hard he hits. If you want, Harry did play strong safety for a while, so go ahead and swap those if you want. Eddie Jackson can be free and Harry can be strong.
The safeties typically line up wherever they're needed. So
if you wanted to get really crazy with it, we could put Eddie Jackson at free and Adrian Amos at strong, and then put Harry at slot.
Yeah.
If you really wanted to get crazy with it, I would be totally fine with Harry playing like a nickel slot
That's
position.
where I think our DBs kind of strengthen up, is at our safeties.
Safeties with Harrison Smith and Eddie Jackson make it a lot better. We're going to move on now to the special teams and coaches. Our kick returner was Khalif Raymond. The reasoning for this is because he's the only kick returner in the NFC North that is consistent, and he's the only kick returner that averaged more than 20 yards a return or 15 yards a return. Every other kick returner in the NFC North was terrible last year. KJ Osborne did horrible as a returner. I did not expect that.
Chad Beebe
did poorly. Tavon Austin, I don't know if he even played much because I just never really saw him out there. Marquise Goodwin, I don't know if he was on the Bears yet, but when he did, I don't think he did their returns. Tariq Cohen had an off year, so we did Khalif Raymond just off consistency, and he had actually solid stats, and it was nice to get another Lion in there. Kicker was the kicker that was tied for the number 1 kicker overall last year, who had 100% field goals, was Mason Crosby. Shouldn't be a surprise to anybody.
Still missing a couple extra points in there, but
he did. Jack Fox was our punter. Another Lion, got him in there. He was rated as the 3rd best punter in the entire NFL last year. Really good. I have a soft spot for Pat O'Donnell because of his insane combine stats that he had.
He had 16 reps, 30 reps.
Yeah, he outdid most linebackers for his reps, and he also outdid most linebackers for his 40. So Pat O'Donnell was who I wanted, but Jack Fox is just ultimately better, so we went with Jack Fox. And our long snapper is Hunter Bradley because Crosby is the kicker. He'd probably want to be more comfortable. And we manipulated the coaches to where they've played before a little bit. Our head coach, we went with Matt LaFleur. You get the Aaron Rodgers, Matt LaFleur combination again. Mike Zimmer, we moved him from a head coaching position to defensive coordinator. My opinion, his most success was as the Bengals defensive coordinator. A lot of people think that he would be better to stay in that defensive coordinator position. A lot of people second guess him as a head coach. I think he's a great head coach anyway, but as a defensive coordinator, he goes from a B+, A- head coach to an A+ defensive coordinator.
And he's working with
and
just a stacked
Zimmer gets to work with Daniil, Akeem Hicks, Michael Pierce,
Khalil Mack.
Khalil Mack, Jair Alexander. He loves his DBs. Zadarius, Roquan Smith. He gets all those guys. That'd be nuts. Our offensive coordinator, we went Nathaniel Hackett. We went with the Packers offensive coordinator because it was the only offense in the NFC North that even placed in the top 15.
A lot of that has to do with Aaron Rodgers.
A lot of that has to do with Aaron Rodgers, but everybody else on the offense did not do well. Fun fact, defensive coordinators for the NFC North, Chuck Pagano retired. The Packers fired their defensive coordinator. The Lions fired their defensive coordinator, and the Vikings defensive coordinator is not a position. It's multiple different guys coordinate. So that's another reason why we went with the Packers. Or the Packers might not have fired theirs, but yeah. Lots of coaching changes there. Another place where there was lots of coaching changes was special teams. Packers fired their special teams coach. Lions fired theirs. Vikings fired theirs. The Bears, who had the worst out of everybody at the 27th ranked special teams, the Bears did not fire their special teams coordinator, but because they were rated so poorly, we took Maurice Drayton from the Packers, who was a 9-year assistant special teams coordinator for the Packers. So he has the most consistency out of everybody. The Vikings have somebody new, so we didn't want to pick them, and the Bears brought in somebody new. The Lions have a whole new head coaching system. So that's all the coaches, and there were our starters. That was the NFC North.
We took the unit that kind of stayed glued together from the previous season, which was the Packers, more than the other teams in the NFC North.
Yep. But yeah, that was all of them, and those were our all-starters. So that was it for all-starters. Hope you liked it. It was a fun thing to put together. I'm excited to do more. We just have a couple quick other sports things that we want to hit, and then we're going to move away from sports until we get back to the local stuff.
Which could be more sports.
Maybe not. We'll see. Probably will be. Quick college football. Mike Penix, the quarterback for Indiana, who had his breakout year last year, was working out with Peyton Manning, and Peyton Manning had a lot of good things to say about him. Penix should move up draft boards as the year goes on. Right now, a lot of people aren't putting him very high. I don't know if he's eligible to be drafted this year, but he's working with Peyton Manning. Very good player, and he's just going to keep getting better. Very excited for that. Oklahoma and Texas are potentially applying, making a move to become part of the SEC instead of the Big 12. So that's huge. The SEC, I'm sure now that they can pay players, they want to be in the place where players are going to want to go.
The whole NIL thing.
So I think Oklahoma and Texas, it's smart for them. Oklahoma tends to get a lot of good quarterbacks. Texas is where all the players are. So being in the SEC would probably increase more in-state players to stick with them rather than going to Alabama and those places.
That's a new recruiting thing, actually. I heard PJ Fleck on doing a radio show host in Indianapolis today, and PJ Fleck was talking about that's like a selling point now. Is how can you get players? You can't coaches and stuff can't physically, or the program can't assist them with their name, image, and likeness. But he's Minnesota's got, I think he said 18 Fortune 500 companies here. They've got over thousands and thousands of businesses, and all these businesses are hungry to get their name tied to a player, because if that player tends to be the next Tom Brady
and you might be a 5-star recruit who's a second and third string on Alabama and still getting name, image, likeness, or would you rather be a 5-star recruit starting for somebody like Minnesota and giving more name, image, likeness because you're playing all the time?
Minnesota's football programs have been on their rise ever since Flex got there. So
even Jerry Kill wasn't too bad, but so I'm excited for that. I think it's a smart move by both of those teams. I just don't know if it'll be successful for them because the SEC is way harder. Super sad. Cam Akers tore his Achilles. Hope he has a speedy recovery. Interested to see what the Rams do post that, but honestly, super disappointed. When I saw Cam Akers got hurt, I was super sad.
I tweeted about how that's someone I was targeting in fantasy. So once we, when we get to our fantasy segments coming up or whenever that we
will be doing fantasy football segments. We'll be doing mock draft. We'll be doing just advice on players, who to start, who to sit as the season goes on. So we will be doing fantasy football stuff, but Cam Akers would have been a good one. Last little thing, I'm a huge fan of Pat McAfee. He's part of the reason why I even want to do these sorts of things. I've always wanted to do this sort of thing ever since I was a kid, but still, Pat McAfee is somebody that I look up to and I think is super entertaining. He had a little issue going on that made some news this week with his employees, and they kind of had a little of an outburst at the end of one of his episodes. He came back and apologized immediately, and he took it in stride. He admitted that he did something wrong. Saw some people were quite rude, said they weren't going to watch him anymore. Just to let you know, he's still somebody that you should and could look up to. I have a daughter, but if I had a son, I wouldn't mind if he turned out to be Pat McAfee. So, even though he had that issue, and it made some ground in more of a negative light, the people that were mad about it didn't like Pat in the first place. They were waiting for him to saying you're waiting for him to have a bad moment, that means you wanted him to. That happened. He's moved on. Everyone else should. It's a new day. He apologized, and still awesome host, and still somebody I personally look up to, and other people can.
Yeah, I mean, when someone gets knocked down, it's about how they get back up. So.
Right. Yeah, and he immediately did. He apologized quickly, and
I mean, when you have that much people watching you, like we do, like you gotta stay humble.
He has 30,000 watching every day. We have 40
over a week.
40 over a week. So. So that happened. It's moved on. Just wanted to talk about that because it is sporting news and something that people should pay attention to. It happened, and I don't think anything less of him. That'll be it for our sports section, our NBA, NFL. That was a very long one today, but I hope you enjoyed.
It's two new segments.
Two new segments that will be returning.
Yeah, and those will go quicker next time, or we'll figure it out. We're still learning.
Yeah, we'll pick up the pace in those segments, but for now we have a lot to talk about. We like it. So next we're gonna move on to the Marvel stuff. We said it last week, there's not a whole lot of Marvel stuff. We lied. There's always Marvel stuff, and when there's these dead points, that's when they start releasing, guess what's going to happen here?
A lot of rumors, so nothing's
tons of rumors.
official.
I'll let you know, we'll say what's rumor and what's fact, what's confirmed. We'll just go down our list here, because there's quite a bit. The first thing was Olivier Richters. He's black. He was in Black Widow. He's the guy who, if you've seen the movie, gets his wrist broken by Red Guardian in the prison. He is supposedly, he confirmed that he is the first mutant in the MCU, and he's Ursa Major, the mutant who turns into a bear.
Yeah, I think he mentions that he's you're a bear or something.
Yeah, so he's part of the Russian Avengers with Red Guardian, that sort of thing. He was in there.
Crimson Dynamo was mentioned, so he's part of that too.
So they might be doing a whole Russian Avengers thing. There was the rumor that they want Red Guardian to fight Sam Wilson as Captain America.
Does fight Cap, so that would be I think another thing.
So that one's a rumor, but the Ursa Major thing was confirmed by the actor himself.
Yeah. So, I mean, that could be true, could not be true. It depends on whatever he says. Could get in trouble by Marvel.
Anyway. If he gets in trouble, then we'll know it's true.
Yeah. So, another thing is Red Guardian was talking about fighting Cap, and they were like, Captain America was frozen in ice at that time, which could be true. However, I forget his name, but in Falcon and the Winter Soldier, Eli Rogers, his dad, whatever, the one that Sam put the memorial of.
Okay.
Red Guardian could have fought that.
He could
Captain
have.
America. Because he was the first Captain America.
I think he was joking around for the segment, and he was called out, which is why he broke his wrist.
Right.
But he could have. And so Kate Herron is the next little thing here. The next thing here, Kate Herron is the director of Loki. She has did an interview recently, kind of like a minor tell-all. She gave a lot of information that was surprised. One thing, she said that The Void was inspired by Teletubbies. That was silly. But yeah, if you can kind of see the resemblance if you watch Teletubbies or know what Teletubbies is, like open fields of nothingness. Yeah. Basically a reverse Teletubbies, but Teletubbies was creepy too. Right. Yeah, whimsical creatures, all that, yeah. So it was built, designed, or resembled, she got the idea because of Teletubbies. Michael Waldron, the head writer of Loki, says that Ravonna Renslayer will be a build-up of a complex villain, so she will be in the MCU, a big part of the MCU's future, and most likely will be in multiple Marvel projects. The rumor is that she'll be in multiple projects, but the confirmed fact by Waldron is that she will be part of the future.
And with Jonathan Majors possibly portraying a bunch of different versions of Kang.
Yep, that's another thing.
There could be a bunch of different versions of Ravonna.
Absolutely.
The same Ravonna, if he's looking for a specific one.
And you just mentioned it, the Jonathan Majors confirmed will be in multiple Marvel properties, and he will be playing different versions of Kang. The Tom Hiddleston said that the entire cast is excited to see where Majors takes that character, and that Kang is a character that has been described to Hiddleston as bent on destruction. So it will be the next... Kang's going to be like the next Thanos, probably the next big bad.
Big bad.
So it's exciting. We heard a lot about him. Also, Eric Martin confirmed that throughout the entire Infinity Saga, nobody had any free will. That everything was because He Who Remains allowed it to happen. So there was a little thing on Twitter and on the internet the other day, who would win, Thanos or He Who Remains. He Who Remains allowed Thanos to do everything. So, I mean, Thanos didn't even have free will over He Who Remains. So I think we can put that to rest. Also, I'll jump down here. Kid Loki is the oldest Loki variant in the Void. That is confirmed by Kit Herron. He just never aged once he got to the Void. The other thing was a rumor that you heard.
Yeah, that he's rumored to be in Multiverse of Madness.
Yeah. Yep.
So
if he is, that's cool. I think that kid did a good job.
Yeah, basically the whole... You could say anything's rumored to be in Multiverse of Madness, and it could be true.
Because it's multiverse. Yeah. Yep. Same with No Way Home.
Yep. Which we still waiting for a trailer.
And speaking of that, we'll jump to that quick. Spider-Man No Way Home. Why is there no trailer? Is it delayed because of Loki? Is there not going to be a trailer?
I have no idea. I think they had to explain the multiverse first. I think because you're going to have the same Doc Ock from Spider-Man 2. Confirmed the same.
Because No Way Home comes out in September, right?
Comes out December.
Yeah. So maybe September will be when we get that trailer.
Yeah.
Yeah, Shang-Chi. Maybe if you go to see Shang-Chi,
that's the only way you
the
can
trailer
see it.
for No Way Home.
Yeah. Because we're waiting. Eternals trailer's out. Shang-Chi's trailer's out. We're waiting for Miss Marvel and Hawkeye.
That would also encourage you to go to theaters rather than Premier Access.
Yeah. You can't get Sony properties.
Shang-Chi?
No, not for Spider-Man.
Okay.
But yeah. Spider-Man won't be on Disney Plus, but
exactly. So maybe that'll encourage you to go see it.
You also saw a tweet about the Spider-Man No Way Home trailer when it would be at that No Way Home.
Oh yeah, there was a Boss Logic, a terrific artist.
He works with Disney.
He works with Disney, but I have followed him since I was in college, a long time ago. I'm old as hell. Yeah, he made a joke saying that the Spider-Man No Way Home trailer will be in the previews of Spider-Man No Way Home. I thought that was funny, and yeah, very, very clever of him. Back to Black Widow real quick. David Harbour, the guy who plays Red Guardian, was on Hot Ones. A lot of people know what Hot Ones is. Interviews with Hot Wings, and they get spicier as you go on. I had no expectations going in. I don't really know much about David Harbour outside of being in Black Widow. it has become my favorite interview. It was before it was Paul Rudd. I liked Shia LaBeouf's. His was really good. They've had a few people that surprised me. Steve-O from Jackass was really good. His first interview. His second one wasn't as good, but they were both still good. But David Harbour, I think, is my new favorite interview because he was down to earth, very interesting from an actor standpoint, the way he talked about it. Just overall, very good. I recommend if you'd watch that show, give it a watch. If you like Marvel, just give it a watch. And if you just like to get to know like the human side of people, I'd give it a watch. It was awesome. Very much enjoyed. I know, Dad, you said you watch it. Watch it. I think you'll like it. Or you said you watched the podcast. Watch that. Moving on to Hawkeye, another huge property coming in. There's a couple rumors with there. Confirmation, not a rumor. Hawkeye and Miss Marvel both will be out before 2021 is over.
Yeah, I think it was October and December.
Yeah,
I want to say.
I believe that was right. So that's
Miss Marvel's
huge.
coming
so
first.
What if Miss Marvel, Shang-Chi, Hawkeye are all going to be hitting us?
Eternals.
Soon. Eternals are all going to be hitting us. I'm excited for Miss Marvel a lot. I'm getting more excited. I'm surprised. I didn't think I was going to be honest. But as it gets closer, I'm excited. And I've always liked Hawkeye because Bo's like RPGs, nerdy thing like Dungeons and Dragons. I always wanted to know the Bo character. So I've always liked Hawkeye. And then a rumor is that we'll be getting a first look of his poster or a trailer for Hawkeye.
Some kind of imagery we're looking for.
I mean, they've been doing shooting for filming. It was delayed by COVID, but they've been doing filming for a while. So I think they'll have a trailer ready to drop. We also got confirmed that Hawkeye, the show, will be when we learn whether or not Yelena from Black Widow, her sister, was snapped. We talked about this. I tweeted about this. So it's confirmed she'll be in the show then. But I think that they're going to show Hawkeye's family get snapped again. And they're going to show Yelena see Hawkeye break down before he becomes Ronin and goes crazy. You're going to see the human side of... she's going to see the human side of Hawkeye and decide not to kill him. Otherwise, the other way I think they would run would be as his Ronin when he breaks down. Maybe he has to hunt down Yelena and they like hunt down each other. Sure. But Hawkeye's supposed to be post that, I believe. Yeah. So... maybe that's probably not accurate, but that's my theory. YouTubers and pod people make theories all the time that are wrong. This will be another wrong one of mine. But I think good writing would be she sees the snap.
Yeah, and then Valerie...
Contessa de Fontaine? Contessa Allegra.
Yeah, Valentina Contessa Allegra de Fontaine. She's rumored to be in it as well.
Okay, so then she would be with Yelena giving...
possibly,
okay. Yeah. Cool. That'll be it for for Hawkeye. Oh, one last one was a rumor, not confirmed, but as a rumor that you heard relating to the character Echo as well as Hawkeye.
So Akers been rumored. I think a while back they were looking for an actress between age blank and age blank that fit this profile, and everyone's like that could be Echo. Echo is obviously a deaf character. Mm-hmm. I do deaf character.
I mean, that's beautiful in sign language, but close enough.
Okay, so a deaf character, kind of similar to Matt Murdock, very similar skill set or whatever. So another way you could bring Matt Murdock in, but also Kingpin could be in it. And I know you've seen a little bit of the Daredevil, but you've seen Vincent D'Onofrio's take.
Yes.
And so Vincent D'Onofrio is rumored to have signed on with Marvel and could appear as early as Hawkeye.
I started watching Daredevil because I knew Vincent D'Onofrio was in it. I love him as an actor. He was great in Law and Order, Jurassic World. And he loves being Kingpin. He tweets about it. He makes jokes. He messes with Marvel fans. So when you told me that rumor, very excited. The rumor was that he was signed on. So that would be really cool if he was. Very exciting and what the implications could be. But yeah. And Echo is very fun because of the deaf character. Couple other ones real quick. Bassam Tariq, I apologize if I pronounce it wrong, Bassam Tariq, will be the director of Blade. That's the only information we'll hear about Blade for a long time.
It's something, though.
It's something. It's nice. It's going to be a black-led movie with a great hero, good actor. I think it's going to be important for the MCU, so any news we can hear about
I'd kill to see a sneak, like a little, someone
give me
paparazzi on an outfit or something.
Mm-hmm. And tie it to Morbius, please.
Yeah.
Another big thing, Winston Duke is going to be coming back into Black Panther. He said it was emotional, obviously because of Chadwick Boseman. And
a lot of people thought M'Baku could be like...
M'Baku was my pick. So I know they said Killmonger could come back, especially with the snap, and like, nope, death is not permanent in the MCU. So it could be Killmonger, but M'Baku would be my pick to be the new Black Panther. Not only is Winston Duke a terrific actor, but there's versions of the comics that you could reference where he does become Black Panther or takes over and becomes... Sure. I can't remember if he changes the name or not, but yeah. It would be really cool, and it would be sick to see what they do with a massive Black Panther.
Yeah.
So the last rumor we actually have, superhero-wise, nerdy stuff-wise, is one that you heard about a Marvel discussion in London.
Yeah.
With...
So it's rumored that Henry Cavill was in London and met with some Marvel reps. He's linked to Captain Britain, Wolverine,
anything.
Anywhere.
He should be a Superman. He would be an incredible Superman.
Yeah, I think so too.
Hyperion. Yep.
Anything.
Adam Warlock.
Black Cat.
Hey, do it. Catwoman.
Spider-Woman.
Well, Spider-Woman, I think that I saw another rumor. I didn't want to talk about that quite yet, just because it's pretty. It was very vague, but there is a rumor for somebody who's going to be playing Spider-Woman already too.
Yeah.
So maybe we'll talk about that if they can get that a little more solid rumor. But yeah, Henry Cavill could be anything, and he'll be good at it.
Cyclops.
See, that's a lot of the characters I think Henry Cavill would be good at are the guy who played Finnick in Hunger Games.
Yeah.
Really interchangeable. Get them both on the same screen. That'd be sweet. Wolverine and Cyclops. Get Henry Cavill in there. Just like there are some actors. Get them before DC can get them, so you can keep DC as your little brother.
Yeah.
Henry Cavill would be sick. And that is it for nerdy stuff. We went long on sports, so we're going to keep this Marvel stuff a little short. We did say last week that we didn't have as much to talk about with Marvel. We did have all those rumors.
Now we know there's always Marvel news.
There's always Marvel news, so if you're craving Marvel news, if you want us to expand the Marvel stuff next time, we can always cut out some sports stuff and do some more Marvel stuff. So if you would rather have that, let us know in the comments. Let us know on Twitter.
We have a new NBA segment we might do.
We have some new NBA stuff, so let us know what you want to see, please, in the comments. It really helps us out to know which direction you want us to see. And Spotify, for those listening on Spotify, send me a DM or tweet at me on Twitter to let me know what you'd like us to talk about. It's same at Glaziar Gambol. Let us know. Your interactions really help us moving forward. So yeah, that's it for Marvel stuff. We just have local news and then some fun information, random facts. Yeah, so we just have, first we're going to start with local news. You saw this one with the Minnesota Vixen.
I did.
Which, there was a fly or something. I'm just crazy.
Yeah, so I mean, I don't know much about, I believe it's football,
It's
football.
Women's professional football. It used to be called Powder Puff, but I believe they stopped calling it that for political correctness or something.
So they're going up against the Renegades, which I believe is a Boston team.
Fun fact, my aunt used to play for the Vixen.
The Minnesota Vixen going up against the Renegades, which I believe is a, like I said, Boston team, because Robert Kraft, the owner of the Patriots, said that he would, is that right?
Yeah.
He said that he would fly the Renegades out there to the championship game. And so they were talking about it on sports radio, and Minnesota Sports Radio, they were trying to, comment at Ziggy Wilf to see if Ziggy Wilf would do anything to, get
because Robert Kraft
reached out,
willing to pay for the Boston team to fly.
So
the Vixen.
I don't know if I heard anything, but they're going to the championship. So best of luck to the Vixen.
Yeah, best of luck, Vixen. Like I said, my aunt used to play for them. I don't think they made the championship when she was on their team. But it's always cool, no matter what size the team is, whether it's the Lynx, the Timberwolves, Vikings, anybody, the Vixen. It's cool when a Minnesota team does well.
Yeah.
So hopefully Minnesota Vixen win. Personally, as somebody who has met Ziggy Wilf briefly, it's not too surprising to hear that he's not paying for them.
Right.
He does, I think he'd rather save his money. But somebody who's met him briefly when I worked for the Vikings, that's not surprising. Next little bit of local news. Again, dealing with football. Michael Pierce.
We said we were done with sports.
We said we were done with sports, but we have some. Michael Pierce injured his calf and is out for all of camp. So he will be back for the season, even preseason, so nothing to worry about, but he is out for the entirety of camp.
You only need to worry if Mike Zimmer calls it a tweak.
Yeah.
That's when you gotta worry.
That's so slightly worrying, I guess, but he should be back. I think the only reason he's probably got hurt is he did opt out last year, so he's probably just, his body's back getting used to those explosive movements. I think he'll be just fine. The only thing I did see people question is Geno Atkins, former Bengal that played for Mike Zimmer.
Yeah.
Maybe they test him out if it does get more serious. Or I know a lot of people want somebody on the team to push Samar Stefan. I know my dad's one of those people. They said that they'd like somebody to push Stefan.
Yeah, I forgot he was there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And Stephen Weatherly, I think, is back.
Weatherly's back.
So somebody that pushes those guys to be beyond what they've been, because while they're not disappointing, it'd just be nice to get somebody to push them. And Geno Atkins, while he's nearing the end, he's on the downslope of his career. He's not a bad player by all means, so that's why people are projecting him. The Bills are the team that are expected to sign him. I think it would be smart not only to get Geno Atkins to help pressure your team, get another good player on your roster, but also to stop those big teams that are Super Bowl favorites like the Bills and Bucks to not get him.
Yeah.
So Geno Atkins to maybe help out if Michael Pierce's injury does get more serious. There, and that's it for local.
Yeah, Geno Atkins has been linked to us since forever.
Every time there's a former Bengal.
Yeah.
Like Darqueze Dennard when he was changing, Dre Kirkpatrick, everybody.
Right.
So, but yeah, that's it for local, and now we're done with sports. Now we just have a couple fun little pieces of information. I'm sure a lot of you saw Jeff Bezos, Blue Origin, flew into space. It was a successful flight. He flew up, came back down, landed, and Jeff Bezos was literally looking down on the whole world, looking down on everyone.
Yep.
So, yeah, there you go. And then when he came down, he smugly basically said, "Thanks for paying for my fun."
Yeah. He for someone that's just doesn't have that much money for him to do that, he doesn't need to spread his wealth at all. He's very just giving. Individual. Mm-hmm. So
yeah, so that happened. And then for our video game fans, we play League of Legends. We've been streaming some videos. I was doing a lot of editing last night, so those videos will be coming out soon here on the Glaziar Gaming YouTube channel. But that is a MOBA style game where you have
massive online battle arena.
Massive online battle arena. So you got a set of players going against another set of players, taking down each base, usually moving across a map that has 3 lanes. Some games have 2, but 3 lanes. Pokemon Unite is a free game for the Nintendo Switch, which is a Pokemon MOBA. And just came out yesterday as this day of recording. It is the 22nd, so Unite came out yesterday. I was watching some people play it. I don't really think it's my sort of thing. It is the most team-dependent MOBA I've ever seen. The new players, you'll be able to dominate if you understand how to play MOBAs, but once you get up and playing against people that understand how to play, it's really team heavy. So if you have a team that just has no idea what they're doing, you could be the best player in the game and still lose.
Sounds a lot like League of Legends.
Sounds like League of Legends and Overwatch and those sorts of things. So seems like a fun game if you like MOBA. If you have children that you want them to have, you don't want to buy them a new game, it is free. There are things that they can purchase in the game, but it is free. And you get to play Pokemon. I'm a fan, so Yeah, got a lot of Pokemon stuff all over. Tons of shirts, tons of, everything. So, love Pokemon. I'll probably try it for a little bit, but yeah, it came out yesterday. Check it out if you're interested. If you do decide to play it, and I am playing it, go ahead and hit us up. We'll add friend codes on Switch and we can play together. Otherwise, I think that's everything we got. We got sports covered. We got Marvel covered.
Short one this week.
Short episode. What are we at? 2 hours? So short episode this week. That's all we got for you today. Just want to shout out comments from last week again. All the new subscribers. We hit 10 subscribers. We're actually at 12 last time I checked. So really cool milestone to hit. Our next goal is 20, 25 would be amazing. Then we'll move up from there. So if we can get to that 20, let your friends know.
50 views, I think, is next.
If we can hit 50 views, we hit 42 last time we checked. So if we can hit 50 views and 20 subscribers, that's our next goal. So we don't know how long it'll get there. It took us 5 episodes to get to 12 subscribers with 40 views. So if it takes us another 5 to get 10 more subscribers and another 10 more unique viewers, that's fine with us. We just we hope we get there. If you want to help us out with that, like and subscribe to our channel. Share it, and wherever you can, wherever you get the opportunity. Follow us on Twitter for updates, Glaziar Gambol. If you follow me, you'll be able to find Joe. We have a gaming YouTube channel, Glaziar Gaming, where both of us playing games like League of Legends are on there. Or we'll be on there soon.
Minecraft stuff.
I got some Minecraft that I started as well, so if you like Minecraft, that'll be on there. We update that. I'll be updating those posts on Twitter as well. So make sure to follow there. If you're listening on Spotify, again, feel free to check us out on YouTube and Twitter and Twitch as well. Twitch is just Glaziar, just plain Glaziar. I've been streaming every night from 7 to midnight, or between those hours. So sometimes it's 7 to 11, sometimes it's 8 to midnight, but between 7 and midnight Central Time US, streaming. It's League of Legends, Minecraft, and then in the future it'll be new games like Far Cry 6. I will be doing a full Let's Play of the campaign of Far Cry 6. So got some games coming there. Yeah, do all the cheesy stuff that they always say. Like, subscribe, hit the notifications.
Smash that like button.
Smash it. Because we want to keep providing good stuff for you. We want you to keep interacting. So those comments, everything is really appreciated, and we really appreciate you. No work has any merit without a fanatical group of people behind it. So you are that fanatical group of people, and we appreciate you so much. It sounds cheesy how often we say it, but really couldn't. Finally feels like we're doing something that I've been wanting to do forever, and you guys make it better. Doing it for you. Thank you. Stay chill, make a difference out there. You always make one no matter what. And we'll see you next time.
Yeah, let's grow together.
Let's grow together. GG.
GG.
GG. And bye.
Bye.